Welcome back to part two of my screencast for the financials and assumptions of my product, the clothing sauna. As you can see, as we went through all of the assumptions, the next three tabs are all generated numbers from those assumptions. We do start to see how the cash is positively influenced throughout the business. It really gives a breakdown of how everything is being spent and where everything is going. So, as you can see, the cash from operations, it is negative the first 3 months because we aren't making any sales. All we have are the expenses. But that does quickly change once we move into month four and start seeing sales. And as you can see, that starts to significantly increase. We have our fixed costs broken down again here. And then we have our total fixed cost listed. And then with all this, it calculates our ending cash balance. And our ending cash balance, if you remember, we started with a $75,000. We had the initial cost of $20,000 for the equipment and lawyer patent fees. So that's where you start to see the decrease, and the ending cash balance continues to decrease because of everything that's going into the business. But by month nine, um, sorry, by month nine is when we start to see the increase is start to go back up. Um, Once we start seeing that profit and the business is growing, that's when we see the ending cash balance start to go back up. And as you can see, the remaining 4 months, it does continue to increase. Um, You'll also notice that we don't go below $10,000. We intended to do that because we wanted to have um, kind of an emergency fund, worst case scenario, be ready for whatever could come up. And obviously, $10,000 is a lot of money, but we want to be prepared for anything that could come up and what might need to go into the business that wasn't calculated for. Moving down to year two, have no negatives. Cash from operations continues to increase, which is obviously what we want to see happen. Um, and then moving down to the ending cash balance, again, it's all increasing through the sales generated. As you'll notice here in I apologize, in month 24, it's deducting our taxes. As you can see, this is calculated here. Um, but instead of deducting that throughout the months of the whole year, it's just deducted at the end of the year. Moving on to the income statement, um, we have a breakdown of the net sales that were all generated from the assumptions tab. And then we have a total breakdown of our total operating expenses. As you can see, these numbers are less than the following months due to not being in the warehouse facility. We didn't have that initial expense. But then it remains constant throughout. And obviously, that will change somewhat given utilities, the time of year, but it will remain pretty consistent throughout. We have our cost of equipment and initial lawyer fees of $20,000 listed here. And then we have our net operating income. And obviously, we're not um, bringing in any income at the moment. It takes up until about month eight where we see the net operating income be positive. But from then on out, we see an increase due to the increase in sales. Um, and then down below our net income, again, it just breaks it down. Instead of the net operating income, we have our net income. And then it shows where it continues to decrease, and then we see where it gets to be positive. Moving to year two, we have no negative numbers. Again, you can see that we have a very good gross margin of 90%. And then our net operating expenses or income is all positive and just continues to increase. We do have a negative here due to the taxes being taken out in month 24, but we are seeing a consistent growth throughout each month. Moving on to the balance sheet, you can make the comparison of year 1 to year 2. Total current assets, we see a nice increase. Then total assets, including inventory and accumulated depreciation from our assets, we see another nice increase from year 1 to year 2. And then here we have our liabilities and stockholders' equity. So by year 2, we can see that the equity has increased from the initial cash balance of $75,000. We do hope that it continues to increase, and given these projections, we don't see why in the following years it won't continue to grow at the same rate, if not exponentially more, due to the fact that we'd like to target large retail outlets as well as hotels, given that we feel that our product would be a good fit in both venues. Thanks for following along on my screencast, and I look forward to your feedback. Thanks. Bye.